Again, I do not know how to intro the Constructicons, so this is just going to be the intro for them. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to be reviewing the Studio Series 86 Scrapper. But of course, before we look at Scrapper, I need to get my facial identification protective gear on so that we may look at his packaging. So if we go up, you see 17 steps, you see the render of Scrapper, you got Transformers the movie, Constructicon Scrapper. On the side, you got Autobot City. I wish that was the Decepticon insignia, but whatever. You get Voyager class. On this side, you get 1 out of 5 collect to combine, all that fun stuff. You get a render of my boy Devastator. On the back, you get product shots. Scrapper is the engineer and designer of the Constructicon. For the Constructicons, he combines with the other Constructicons to form Devastator. Robot mode, alternate mode, 17 steps, Devastator blasters, collect to combine, all that legal stuff at the bottom. So now that we have taken a look at his box, we can take a look at Scrapper himself. Let me center the camera. Now then, first things first. This guy does look a lot like his Combiner Wars version. He's essentially a downscaled Combiner Wars Scrapper with better articulation and a slightly different transformation. Do I care? No. Not in the slightest do I care. Because I am loving this thing. From the silver to the deep purple to the green, it looks amazing. The head sculpt is wonderful, and the asymmetrical detail on the chest and the legs looks pretty nice. He is, however, quite hollow, unfortunately. The undersides of the arms are hollow, the forearms are hollow, but that's due to how he transforms. Back of the legs are hollow, and the bottom of the feet are hollow. While yes, it isn't a huge deal, it is a thing and makes him feel less worth that Voyager class price point. Luckily, DNA Design is getting around to making a kit for this guy, which will fix these issues. Ooh, crap. Forgot one of his accessories outside. So, his accessories consist of blasters. So here's his base blaster. It's a fairly detailed blaster, but just a blaster. Goes into the hand or stores on this peg on the bucket. Like so. He also has these two gun, massive things. These combine into Devastator's gun. And it's big. Like, look at how big it is next to Scrapper. Like, just look at that scale. It's massive. He can use these individually, just like so. However, it unfortunately doesn't store anywhere in the robot mode, so that does kind of suck. Now then, Scrapper's articulation is decent for a Voyager. Head looks up that far, down that far. Can't really tilt, but it can rotate a full 360 degrees. Shoulders pull a full 360. They go out to the side, a lot way up. You get a butterfly joint due to transformation. You get a bicep rotation, 90 degrees of bend at the elbow, inward movement at the wrist, nothing at the waist, and while, yes, that could be due to the ratchet joint in there, making it impossible to put a waist joint in there without the mushroom peg shearing off, because this is a And I have seen Stellaris Prime counteract that with, I believe it was Magic Square's Vortex, which had the same thing, but that, it's the same concept overall, yes, but that third-party figure is probably using better materials overall than this figure. So that waist joint is probably stronger than a waist joint on this would be, which would result in this one probably shearing off. And if it's not that reason, there must be some reason that they didn't include a waist joint. And hips kick forward that far, and kick back that far. They go in and out. Thigh rotation, 90 degrees of bend at the knee. Feet can pivot forward, and a really deep ankle tilt. So overall, he is fairly decently articulated. So now let's get into some size comparisons. I'm only going to compare him to one figure for my convenience, and that figure is going to be 86 Bone Crusher. So as you can see, they are very similar in height, because all the Constructicons are very similar in their height. There's not really any taller or shorter Constructicons, although apparently Mixmaster is supposed to be taller than this guy. So that's nice that they're around the same scale. Now then, let's transform this thing. I almost knocked over my water bottle. So I like to peg the legs together first, just to get that over with. Then fold the hands in, bend the elbows backwards, open up the chest, fold the head in, close the chest. There's actually some really nice detail in there. Unfold the bucket. Now these are, the butterfly joint will shift in. This slot goes into that tab, and this slot will go into that tab. So just shift that all in, and then this tab will go into that slot. So just shift it all in. It compresses really nicely. Then snap all this into place. The instructions tell you to take the clip and bring it up like that. But I personally like to have the clip down like that. Now we get to work on the legs. So bring these out, flip these around, snap these into place. Now the first time you do that, they're going to be very tight, but over time they get a lot looser. This slot will go into that tab, and this little slot here will go into that little tab there. So just peg that all in, put him down, adjust the camera, and there we have Scrapper in his vehicle mode. After a pretty simple transformation, we are left with this pretty good alt mode. It has some gaps on the top, as you can see, but not really that big of a deal. All four wheels are pinned, so he rolls amazingly. And the weapon storage for this mode, you can either take the blaster, it has a little tab here, goes into that slot there like so, or what you can do is you can peg it into this larger blaster, and then this tab on the side will slide into that slot. And then this tab will slide into that slot. So there are multiple methods of weapon storage for this guy. Now we can do size comparisons. And once again, for my convenience, it's just 86 Bone Crusher. Now with my lighting, they appear more of a matte green, almost yellow, but they are very much so neon green in real life. So there's that size comparison. Once again, very equivalent size. Now, let's do transformation into leg mode, because I don't see a lot of people do this, and I want to do it. So you bring the bucket up, and that clip does a very good job at keeping that in place. It takes a lot of force to undo that clip, just pulling like this. It can be done, but the weight of Devastator will not do it. So then you bring this around, and what the instructions tell you to do is rotate this, bring it back, and fold out the hand. I don't like that. I personally do it like this, because you'll see why later. I'll show you when we get him into his leg mode. But I'm going to do the way the instructions tell you to do it first. Then you want to bend these legs back, rotate this entire assembly, bring it down, and there you have leg mode. It's a leg, it's a foot. Need I say more? I can say how it articulates. It's got this ratchet joint. Very strong ratchet joint with 4 clicks. And it will have to be that strong in order to hold up Devastator. Now, I set him down like this, and you see he's tilting. That is because these are not on scale with this. So the reason why I do it like this is because it makes the whole thing more level. It does still tilt a little bit, but it is a lot more level than it is the other way. So I do it like this. And I would compare him next to Bone Crusher, but what's the real point of doing that? Now, let's get into some final thoughts. Overall, this is a pretty solid figure. If you're completing Devastator, this is another good figure to add to that collection. That has been all, so until next time, my fellow Cybertronians, goodbye and good night.